Which desires come from the ego and which desires come from the heart, from the soul? How do we know? How do we know what to act on? Because this can get very confusing. This was a question that someone asked, and in this video I'm diving into this, how to support you in discerning what is my heart's calling? How do I know what is in alignment and where I'm just trying to fix? Let's dive right in. Phenomenal question, such an important one, and also really coincided with a workshop that we're doing in Thrive, which is about wealth consciousness. So if you missed that and if you want to become a Thrive member, there's information down below in the description. And I would actually prefer to get on a clarity call because I don't enjoy working with people unless I know that I can support you in your change and to see if we're a match. So this is actually a workshop that we recently did in regards to wealth consciousness. And that's one of the things that I addressed because that comes up a lot. Well, do I have the right to manifest like things that are just necessities, or also the things that I want? Like, am I greedy? Where does that come from? Okay, so let me read this question first. The truth is that it is often not clear to me which of my desires come from the ego and which desires come from the heart/higher self. And I wonder if desires from the ego are not worthy or not supported by my higher self and life. This is so important. And I'm actually, the workshop that I just told you about, I redid it because I've done this 2 years ago. Same question came up. How do we know? How do we tell the difference? My question to you is, who created the ego? Who created the ego? Isn't this the same source as created everything, right? If you believe that God, life, just consciousness created everything, isn't the ego part of everything? That is the first point. My second question to you is, what can really go wrong? What can really go wrong? Because what is the worst case scenario? And we've all done it. This is just something like the wisdom that comes with age. We've all done it. What's the worst case scenario? You're going to follow things that are there to try to feel like enough, right? I had a friend he had such ambition and he wanted to go places and become this. Where did it come from? From his not enoughness, from growing up in a poor family, from being judged by others. It's like, I want to prove myself. Did that come from the higher self? Not necessarily. That came from validation. Okay, I don't know that person's experience like deeply. I don't know. So can't really say that, but it seems like that may have come from the mind, from needing to prove themselves. Even if this person were to follow that, which they did, what is the worst thing that can happen? They're going to keep following and following and following it, realizing, oh, I have all this stuff and I'm just as miserable. I believe there was this meme going around. I don't know if Jim Carrey actually said that, but it was something like Jim Carrey's quote that is like, I wish everyone could get rich and famous so they would understand that happiness isn't found that way. So what's the worst case? They're going to either burn themselves out chasing that, or they're going to achieve it and be like, oh, okay, still feel miserable. I definitely had that experience. I had like the perfect family and the whole, 2 kids and a husband and a house with a picket fence, not literally, but metaphorically. And it's like everything was seemingly great and I felt miserable. I didn't want to live. So what's the worst case? That at some point you will wake up. That at some point you're going to entertain this and you're going to get really clear on what's not working. What's wrong with that? And the mind, for some of you, may go into, well, it means I'm wasting my time. You're an eternal being. Why are you worried about that? And can it really be about having fun on the way to not getting to where you want to go? This is a quote that I heard from Abraham, from Esther Hicks, and it changed my life. Can you have fun on the way to not getting to where you want to be? Because inevitably, when you do that, when you just have fun, you will most definitely get to where you want to go. But instead of beating yourself up, I'm not there yet. Can you have fun on the way to it? A metaphor that I recently used with a friend explaining that masculine energy, and if you don't like the terminology masculine, feminine, think of sun and moon. Sun is direction, intention, decisiveness, purpose, doing. There's intentionality. With that intentionality, it's also deep presence. So the masculine knows where it's going. What if there's a detour? What if there is a problem? It's like, that's okay. We can take detours. I still know where I'm going. And it may be fun to take a detour. If I'm going to a particular city, it might be fun to stop along the way and check out different villages or different sites. And it's only a problem where, no, we have to get there. We have to get there. Because you're like chasing it. Because you believe like, when I get there, my life's purpose will be met. In those situations, you're missing all of life. Bask in the deliciousness of, ooh, I get to check out this place and there's this restaurant. That was a cool experience. Oh, this I didn't really like. Now I know I don't really like this food in this restaurant that was on the way to it. And then you get to the destination and it wasn't like you raced to it. That was a fantastic trip. So much variety, so many experiences. And this is why both of these are important, the sun and the moon energy. Because the masculine and the feminine, because there's that direction. I still know that I'm going to that city. If we're too much in the feminine, we're going to go like, oh my God, such a cute fit. Let's just stay here. It's like, but we're going there. And especially the importance of this is something that we do in Thrive. We have the soul-led living sessions, which is like quarterly planning. We focus on what is my target for the next quarter to make sure that the members are moving towards that, which is really important to them. But not from the mind, but from the soul and heart. And it is freaking amazing to witness these people going to like, yeah, I went through with it. I made this happen. And it's not something that like, oh yeah, I did it, but it doesn't feel as good as I thought it would. Because those targets are not created from the mind. So it's that masculine that's inspired by life, God, source consciousness. And after that, not racing to the destination, but it's like, I'm okay if we have detours because I know my target. And this is really, really important. Taking a deep inhale in. Coming into the body, coming into the breath, coming into the stillness of that intentionality that I spoke about. How would this look like in your life? How does embodying more of this look like in your life? Just staying here for a moment. Beautiful. And another way to tell which desires come from the ego, which desires come from source. Like I said, this is definitely something that we do in Thrive. We set those targets for the quarter. From that place, we tune into that place. That's what I guide people into. But a quick way to do this is really asking yourself, is this love or fear? Am I moving from love or fear? Am I trying to prove something? Is this coming from, not enoughness? Here's a little trick, and I'm going to finish with this so it's not too long. The mind can be really sneaky with this. Again, this is literally why I'm bringing these sessions into Thrive. Because we sometimes go into, it's from love. Like, I'm doing what's best for this person, and this is why this is important. It's the best for them. It seems like it's love, but what's underneath that? Is it fear? That, if they don't do this, they're going to fail, and they're going to be sad or disappointed, or they're going to reject me? Years ago, when I first started, I was speaking to a teacher who was also coaching people, and it was just when I was starting out, and I was getting feedback from other teachers like, what is the most difficult thing for you? What do you find the most difficult in this job and that what you're doing? And the person shared their answer, and then they asked, what about you? And my answer at the time, again, many years ago, was, it kills me to see people's potential and then not seeing them not living up to it. And right away, he goes, so judgment. What? That's not judgment, I said. That's not judgment. And he goes, what else is it? You're seeing where the person is at, and you judge them as they should be somewhere else. What is that if not judgment? That conversation had a huge impact on me. And getting clear on where is it that I'm putting on my projections on how someone should live, and I'm not actually serving them. It's seemingly, and that's what the ego covers up. It's like, no, but I'm serving their higher version of themselves. Yes, but are you honoring their process? And so in this situation, when we're dealing with loved ones, when we're dealing with people close to us, or even something like a higher cause, right? It's like, well, the system is like this and I have to fight this. What's underneath that? Because more often than not, it's fear. When you're approaching the world, person, situation, circumstance from, I have to fix it, it is flawed. That's not love. That's not wholeness. You're not approaching it from wholeness. You're approaching it from fixing. And this is an invitation to go inward and sit with yourself. Where is it that disconnection is within me, that I'm projecting it on the outside? Because this is similarly as your left hand fighting your right hand. It's not going to take you anywhere. So as long as we keep fighting aspects of ourselves, we're fighting our ego instead of learning how to see it for what it is, right? It's like, well, my ego's ruining my life, or that inner critic. It's not. It's a part of you that wants to be heard, that wants to be loved. And when you understand that deeply within yourself, right? Even those desires, like, well, they're coming from the ego, so they're bad, they're not pure. It's a part of you that hasn't had those desires met. It's the part of you that seeks something, and it believes that through that thing, through that experience, through that situation, they're going to be able to feel that ease, that joy, that freedom, whatever it is that it's chasing. It's not bad. It's having love and compassion towards that part and holding it instead of entertaining the chase that it wants to entertain. So I hope that answers the question, and I hope that guides others, not the person, also the person who asked the questions, but many others, because this is a really important thing to understand. How do we know? And like I said at the beginning, what's the worst thing that can happen? So if you want to come into more of this alignment, tuning in to yourself, having that beautiful partnership within, so that you don't live a life that feels torn. And it's like, well, I'm going here and I'm going there, and then I can't create, and it feels like I'm just going in circles and spirals. Because that's what it feels like when we are entertaining very different opposite energies and not knowing how to come into wholeness, how to combine them. So if this is something that you want to dive deeper into, I'm offering free 30-minute clarity calls to see if this is in alignment. Also, at the very least, you may just get resources and some advice on what are the next steps for you. And also, if you want to go deeper into one-on-one work or check out Thrive, this will also support you in that. I thank you so much for being here. Let me know what you're hearing me say down below in the comments. How do you differentiate between desire from like the ego desire and the one that comes from the heart and from the soul? Let me know below what is your way. And until next time.